Hello and welcome to another episode of the INDY Sports Show. I'm Smiso Msomi, senior journalist at Independent Media. Today's discussion will sort of touch a little bit on the Betway Premiership relegation battle, but it will mostly consist of the ongoing CAF Champions League semi-finals, two feisty encounters over the weekend, two more for us to feast on over the upcoming weekend as well. So without wasting more time, let's just get to it, man. So two, well, not so huge results, but depending on from which angle you look at it from. Um, a 0-0 result at Loftus between the Mamelodi Sundowns and Ahly. Of course, Ahly were away. And then another 0-0 result at the FNB Stadium where Orlando Pirates hosted Pyramids FC. I think the biggest question that came out of at the end of both of those games was who exactly has the advantage of the first leg. A lot of people were sort of split, and understandably so, because the dynamics of a knockout semi-final over two legs, with the away goals rule still in play, is always a tricky one. So yeah, but let's just start with the Mamelodi Sundowns Ahly game. Personally, if you're a Mamelodi Sundowns man, that was sort of a worry for you to watch. Not necessarily because you're dominated, because that really happens anyway. Mamelodi Sundowns are really dominated, and in any game, home or away. But it is the fear of watching a side that's predominantly known for attacking, free-flowing football failed to create any reasonable chance over 90 minutes. I think the first half concluded without even a single shot on target from Mamelodi Sundowns, so that's a worry. I think over 90 minutes they only had one, and probably the biggest chance to score was that long range strike from Tebogo Mokoena in the first half, I believe. So that's probably the one worrisome point for Mamelodi Sundowns. Of course, they had 70% of the ball, but you had an Ahly hit the post. I think they hit the post twice or once. A cauldron and Williams into a couple of good saves as well. A couple of good blocks by the defenders as well at crucial times. So on the complexion of the game, Sundowns had the ball, but Ahly had the better chances in the game. And then when you look at that and think about the fact that there's still another 90 minutes to play, you can only wonder what that game is gonna turn out to be when it goes to Egypt, because we know Ahly have won this tournament 12 times, I believe. They are defending champions. They've won it back to back. They've won it, I think, 4 times in the last 4 years, 4 times in the last 5 years, actually. So they know exactly how to play this type of encounter, this type of fixture, this type of moment. They know how to manage home and away legs probably better than most teams. Well, probably out of all the teams in the tournament. So you would expect that they would have the right plan going into the home leg as well. Of course, if you're also a Mamelodi Sundowns man, you're also looking at that and thinking, if we could score one goal, it's more pressure for them. But then after watching that first leg, there's also that sort of, how are you going to score that first goal? Sundowns, I think, only looked lively only when Umshishi came back on. Temba Zwane has been out for about 7 months. And he comes on, of course, special player. But he comes on and he looks more lively than anyone that's been on the pitch for the past, 70 minutes. Perhaps when you're Mamelodi Sundowns, you look at individuals that possibly could lift the entire complexion of your squad or just your general play, because as much as you can dominate possession doesn't win you games. You need that spark in the final third. You need someone who's going to come up with the creative juices, more especially in a moment where your star player, Lucas Ribeiro, looks as if they're not firing at all cylinders. He hasn't had a good CAF tournament. He's had a good season overall. I mean, he's dominated the domestic scene, but he hasn't had a good CAF tournament. And it seems as if that is continuing to, to manifest, and it continues to be something that's serious, and something Coach Miguel Cardozo needs to look out for as well. So, um, who has the advantage over the first leg? I think, in as much as the away goal rule might change or might sort of help Sundowns in that dynamic, but I think Ahly will go into the second leg more confident, and it's just purely because of what they've been able to do in Egypt over the years, and generally how well they played, even on away territory. A lot of today's games is influenced by momentum and confidence and mentality. And I think Ali will feel as if they are the better team after the first leg. And perhaps that will spur them on even in Egypt. So for me, in that encounter, I think Al Ali has the advantage, even though that could quickly shift with an early goal in Egypt for Mamelodi Sundowns. So yeah, that fixture takes place this weekend. I think it's on Saturday. So yeah, uh, yeah. So actually, both games are taking place on Friday. Mamelodi Sundowns and Al Ali will play first at 6, and then Orlando Pirates and Pyramids will take place at 8 o'clock. So yeah, both fixtures taking place on the 25th, and that is on Friday. Yeah. So on to Pirates. Uh, Again, a first leg of not that much success for a South African team, which is something that worries me. Orlando Pirates, the optimistic Orlando Pirates man, or the optimistic South African man, will say Orlando Pirates remain unbeaten in the competition. They remain the only side to be unbeaten. They also kept a clean sheet. But if you watch that game, then you know how dangerous Pyramids are. We're talking about a side that's currently leading the Egyptian League, the Egyptian Premier League. We're talking about a side that is yet to lose in the Egyptian Premier League. We are talking about a side that played Al Ahly 2 weeks ago with 10 men for most of the second half and held them to a draw. We're talking about a side that finished the group stages of the CAF Champions League as the leading scorers with 14 goals after 6 games. We know how dangerous Pyramids are, and everyone was able to see it on Saturday as well. The VAR, other people might say the VAR saved Pirates. No, the VAR actually did its job. That's what the VAR is supposed to do: intervene at the right time to ensure that the right decisions are made, and the right decisions were made over the weekend. But I'm sure if you're an Orlando Pirates player, if you're an Orlando Pirates coach, you're looking at that game thinking, yeah, they played more like the home team than Orlando Pirates. They traveled Pirates more. They looked super in control, in and out of position. They played with confidence. They were able to isolate Pirates players and place them in uncomfortable positions. And, you know, that is not something that we've seen many teams do to Pirates over this CAF Champions League journey. They've been able to band together and work as a team and work as a unit and not get exposed at moments. But we saw that happen quite frequently in this encounter. So, again, who has the advantage over the first leg? Man, it's very difficult to take into context the away goals rule because it changes so much. But again, the whole reason why the whole away goals rule concept was made up, it was because of the understanding of how much playing in front of your home crowd, in your own stadium, in your own comforts makes such a huge difference, more especially in fixtures like these. We see it in Europe all the time. We see it. We've heard stories about how when teams go to Anfield, when teams go to the Santiago Bernabeu, when teams go to the Camp Nou, it's always you know, it's a different kind of energy, it's a different kind of mentality. And I think if there's any team that have managed to capture that sort of thing from the European game, it's probably not African teams. I mean, uh, we've seen it with Esperance, we've seen it with Ahly over the years. We, yeah, so who has the advantage? I think Pyramids again has the advantage over the first leg. Uh, I think when you look at how they played away from home, you expect them to put up an even better performance than that, with more pressure, with more energy, with their own fans helping them on as well. Um, what what I would like to happen, of course, an all South African final. But I mean, that goes without saying. But what I want and what the football gods might decide are two totally different things. Um, and it doesn't essentially work like that. But yeah, I'm hoping that both our South African teams could go into enemy territory, do what they need to do, dig deep, show us what we know that they have in their own lockers, and just, yeah. Friday is going to be such a big day in South African football. It's going to be such a huge day in South African continental football pedigree. So I just hope that the two teams have enough in them, and yeah, and the two coaches get it right on the day, because I felt like the first legs, yeah, they might have gotten a few things wrong. So hopefully that happens. Yeah. So I know this week's video was supposed to be a CAF semi-finals video, but you can't help but just discuss what's happening at Cape Town City at the moment. I think it's a worry for Cape Town football fans that it's a very serious situation that they find themselves in. Of course, Cape Town City have been around about the bottom the majority of the season, and now are definitely the ones that are looking more likely to fall to the drop. Of course, they lost to Richards Bay on Friday, one of their relegation rivals. A game that was probably seen by not just many, but by them as well, as probably one game that they need to win off the last four of the season. I've played 26 games now, so 4 more games, or 3 more games, or 4, depending on, because the Raw AM game won't count. So yeah, 3 more games of the season left to go. 3 vital points that they need. They're currently on 24, so ordinarily you would need at least 30 points to survive the drop. And yeah, they find themselves in a very, very tricky position. But their form is just something bizarre when you look at the talent at their disposal. No one thought when they saw Cape Town City, no one thought when they saw them sign the likes of Fortune Makarenge, Hashim Domingo, Kamuhelo Mokojo, Amadou Sukuna. No one thought that you would find Cape Town City in this position. And something in me tells me that perhaps they also pulled the trigger too early on Coach Eric Tinkler as well. Because even though they had not had the best of seasons at that time as well, but I don't think they end up in the relegation zone with Coach Eric Tinkler at the steering wheel. But they made their call. Coach Machine came in, didn't do well, was relieved of his duties, couldn't even take up the technical director or sporting director role that he was said to take on next season. Just dismissed like that. So now Coach Diogo Peral, alongside Coach Roger Desar, have the insurmountable task of trying to save Cape Town City's status. The most worrying fact about Cape Town City is not the fact that they've accumulated, yes, that's a worry as well. The fact that they've accumulated so little points after 26 games. It's 24 points after 26 games. But it's the fact that they have to play Mamelodi Sundowns, Polokwane City, and Stellenbosch in the last 3 games. And they need at least 6 points from those 3 games. And what are the chances that they are going to get 6 points from those 3 games, let alone 9? Of course, they're going to need a lot of favors. They're going to need a lot of teams to do things for them at this point of the season. But it's looking very bleak for the citizens. And it's unfortunate because they happen to be one of the most well-run clubs in the division. They play some of the most entertaining football in the division as well. Yeah, it would be a shame to lose them, but they would certainly need somewhat of a miracle, or hope that the team that's currently below them, SuperSport United, have an even worse finish to the season. But it's highly unlikely that SuperSport fail to win at least 3 of their last 7, because I think they have 7 games, probably 6 if they have a Euro AM fixture. But yeah, it's highly unlikely. But yeah, Cape Town City will hope that fortune certainly does favor them in the final parts of the season, and yeah, we're going to be there for it.